The oldest capital in the Americas, Mexico City, has much to appeal to those interested in history and culture. It was home to the Aztecs and influenced markedly by the Spanish occupation. There are a huge number of galleries and museums, famous landmarks and great shopping. Today I will be looking at where to stay in Mexico City, breaking down the best areas to stay in Mexico City and giving you all the tips and info you could need. I'll start with the historic center. The historic center, heart of the city, extends for several blocks outwards from the main plaza. Zocalo, which can hold 100,000 people, is the biggest square in Latin America. There are over 9,000 buildings within El Centro, and over 1,500 of them are regarded as of historic significance. They date back as far as the 16th century in some cases, a place where the Spanish built on the former Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan. One section is the pre-Hispanic city and structures built until independence. The other buildings are from independence until the end of the 19th century. This is the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Mexico City. Enjoy the many museums in a largely pedestrianized neighborhood. It has undergone restoration with tourism encouraged by double-decker buses, fine restaurants, and fashionable shopping. The Promenade of the Reform, Paseo de La Reforma, is modeled on the great boulevards of Europe, its origins being in the 1860s. It runs across the heart of the city, and its current name remembers the war that created Mexico as it is known today. It contains many of the capital's tallest buildings and is the hub of tourist activity. That includes top-quality hotels and restaurants as well as exhibitions of the finest art. It is also the place that activists select for both celebrations and protests. Just west of El Centro, Colonial Roma is a neighborhood found on either side of Cajula Street. It was planned as a high-class district a century ago. By 1940, it had very much a middle-class feel, with its decline continuing after the 1958 earthquake. La Condesa in the Cuauhtémoc borough is almost 3 miles west of Zocalo, Mexico City's oldest neighborhood, and immediately west of Roma. It is known locally as part of Barrio Mágico Turístico, translated as Magic Neighborhood for tourists. It is popular with the young, whether students or businessmen. Pet lovers also enjoy this district. Polanco in the Miguel Hidalgo borough is a relatively modern district of the city, upmarket and affluent. Avenida Presidente Masaryk is known for having some of the most expensive shopping in the whole of the Americas. The Beverly Hills of Mexico is one of its nicknames. Coyoacan was the heart of the Aztec settlement that predated the arrival of the Spanish. Hernan Cortes and the Spaniards arrived and made Coyoacan the capital of New Spain. It was not until 1857 that Coyoacan finally became part of Mexico City. Santa Fe in the west of Mexico City is one of the most important business areas in the capital. It is accessed from the center of the city via Paseo de la Reforma Avenue and Constituyentes Avenue. It is a neighborhood of high-rise buildings and a big shopping mall, the largest in Latin America. Many large companies have their headquarters in Santa Fe. You will also find residential buildings in Santa Fe as well as 3 university campuses. Colonial San Rafael within Cuauhtémoc borough is just to the west of El Centro. It was built in the late 19th century to house the city's rich who built large mansions. The style was French, and many of those mansions still survive today. Almost 400 of its buildings are regarded as being of historic significance. The mix of styles, as the further building was done during the 20th century, is one of the features of San Rafael. Again, just west of El Centro, the Pink Zone and Juarez as a whole was originally developed for wealthy foreigners. Today, it is known as a shopping district with good nightlife. It is also where a gay-friendly community has developed. Zona Rosa attracts tourists interested in art and intellectual activities. In addition, a Korean community. Little Seoul has emerged here, so it is still home to foreign arrivals. The expansion of Mexico City has brought the small hamlet of San Angel within the city's boundaries, with bus and subway links making access to the city center fairly easy. San Angel has maintained its original feel, however, with cobbled streets and colonial buildings covered with colorful bougainvillea. San Miguel Chapultepec, an architecturally interesting district south of the large Bosque de Chapultepec Park, is a real mix. There are old French mansions contrasting with single-story shops and the modernist Louis Barragan buildings. It is largely residential with simple cafes and restaurants, but you will find some top-quality ones as well. Cuauhtémoc district in the heart of Mexico City takes its name from the last Aztec emperor whom the Spanish captured and executed in 1525. Its relevance for the area relates to the Templo Mayor Museum's Aztec ruins in the neighborhood. They are found next to the Metropolitan Cathedral in Plaza Zacato. Colonia's Santa Maria la Ribera borders Cuauhtémoc and therefore has many of its neighbors' advantages. West of the historic heart of the city, it developed in the 19th century when it was outside the city's boundaries. At that time, Mexico City's more affluent inhabitants headed here, and it really prospered before the Great Depression struck. This is a central district with some budget accommodation for those looking to avoid the city's high prices and metro connections for ease of movement. Chapultepec Park is the second largest in Latin America and twice the size of New York's Central Park. Its contribution to the city is more than just greenery. The trees result in its being nicknamed the lungs of Mexico City. It attracts 15 million visitors a year, mostly to the oldest part, where you will find the zoo, the Museum of Anthropology and Rufino Tamayo Museum. The oldest part closes at night, but the two other sections stay open. You will find lakes and fountains, sculptures, interesting walks, and entertainment areas. Xochimilco neighborhood in the south of Mexico City is known for the canals that the Aztecs built for water transportation. Colorful gondolas offer daily cruises here with musicians, artisans, and street vendors also taking to the water to add to the great atmosphere. It is like one big party. Roma Norte is south of Cuauhtémoc and can claim to be the culinary and artistic center of the city. It attracts a bohemian lifestyle and is one of the first places that the younger generation looks at for accommodation. That includes young professionals as well. The main avenue, Avenida Obregón, is home to mansions that have been refurbished, casual bars and cafes, and plenty of street art. Indeed, the whole neighborhood has those features. Mercado Roma is the place to shop if you are looking for international foods. Mexico City has much to recommend it. It has direct flights from all over the world with frequent connections with its most important customer, the USA. It is a busy city, and therefore at times it can be frustrating, but it has many riches for tourists to enjoy. Accommodation for tourists and businessmen is readily available in many parts of the city. It makes sense to book fairly close to the attractions that first persuaded you to visit. The history and culture of former centuries are centered in the heart of Mexico's capital, which grew from a small start. I hope this video helps you find the answer for where to stay in Mexico City and find the best place to stay for your holiday.